A very good morning to my dear students. In the last class, we were actually going with a very important grammatical item called reported speech. And for about 2 classes, we were actually going with the rules regarding the conversion of a direct speech into indirect speech or reported speech. Now, I hope that you are very familiar with the topic. And when we took the exercise portions which were included in your textbook in the last Zoom interaction, things would be somewhat clear to you. Okay, anyway, you have to learn the portion reported speech very seriously because it is a very important portion included in your present syllabus, and questions might be asked for the examination from this portion. Okay, so if you feel any kind of doubts regarding a reporter speech, you can call me or you can ask me anytime. Okay, anyway, today we are actually going to deal with a very beautiful short story entitled My Financial Career, written by Stephen Leacock. So this is a story which is revolving around the theme of anxiety, the theme of fear, the theme of trust, the theme of confusion, the theme of identity, and the theme of conflict. So all those themes, as I mentioned right now, the theme of anxiety, the theme of fear, the theme of trust, the theme of confusion, the theme of identity, and the theme of conflict actually constitute as the essence of this short story. And the writer here mentions in a very humorous way how he tried to get into the habit of saving his earnings in a bank and how he failed miserably in doing so. Okay, anyway, let us go for a detailed analysis of the story to know more about the content. So now I am going to read the preface passage. So please do listen and read along with me. A man goes to a bank. Why do all the bank employees laugh when he leaves the bank? So here the situation is mentioned here. Yeah, the situation is nothing other than the arrival of a man into a bank. And what actually happened as a result of his arrival into a bank? Yeah, that actually made a laugh at everybody's face. So when he left the bank, everyone laughed at him. So this story is actually looking forward the reason for all of their laugh. Okay, anyway, let us find what is actually the reason for that. Okay, so here I am going to read the first paragraph. Please do listen and read along with me. When I go into a bank, I get rattled. The clerks rattle me. The wickets rattle me. The sight of the money rattles me. Everything rattles me. So here it is clearly said that when the man went into a bank, everyone who were present there got confused on him. The reason is not mentioned in the first paragraph as such, but here it is clearly said that when he went into a bank, every people laughed at him. Then here we are going with the next paragraph. Please do listen. The moment I cross the threshold of a bank and attempt to transact a business there, I become an irresponsible idiot. And here it is said that the moment he attempted to do some transaction in the bank, he became an irresponsible idiot. What might be the reason? Yeah, he did not wish to part with his money, but knew that he has to do it. Otherwise, as for him, the sum of money he had was very he had was too large to keep. So there was no other option for him. So and here it is clearly mentioned that the moment he decided to do some transaction with the bank, he became an irresponsible idiot. I knew this beforehand, but my salary had been raised to $50 a month, and I felt that the bank was the only place for it. So he knew this thing quite early. That means he knew that, yeah, if he attempted to do some transaction with the bank, yeah, he became an irresponsible idiot. So he knew this right from the beginning, but here he did not have any other option other than saving his earnings in a bank, as his salary would have been doubled. Yeah, I knew this beforehand, but my salary had been raised to $50 a month, and I felt that the bank was the only place for it. So when he found that his salary would have been doubled, yeah, he felt that bank was actually the perfect place to keep that money. So he decided to do some transaction with the bank. So I shambled in and looked timidly around at the clerks. I had an idea that a person about to open an account must consult the manager. So with the aim of opening an account, he was actually looking here and there inside the bank, and then he suddenly came to recollect. Then he suddenly recollected one of his finding, that a person about to open an account must consult the manager. So he decided to consult the manager because he came there to open an account. So suddenly he thought that it was better to consult the manager before opening an account, simply because of the reason that he had such a knowledge from somewhere else, okay, or such an information from somewhere else. Now here we are actually going with the next page, so please turn over the next page and take page number 53. I went up to a wicket marked accountant. The accountant was a tall, cool devil. So then he actually went to a wicket marked accountant. What do you mean by wickets? Yeah, the meaning is given on the first page, page number 52, a small window or enclosure. So suddenly he went to a small window or a small enclosure, and he approached an accountant sitting there. The accountant was a tall and cool devil. That means, yeah, the accountant was very tall, very huge. So here look at the two words used here, tall and cool devil. So devil means, yeah, a person whom we could never adjust with, like that of a devil. Then tall means someone who is bigger than us. So by using the two words tall and devil, here the writer actually speaks about the attitude of bank employees. They are in no way accountable to the customers. They are in no way accountable to the average people. especially to the poor customers, especially to the average customers. So when the man actually approached them, yeah, the accountant seemed as if he was tall, tall and cool devil. That means, yeah, he was a person whom he could never adjust with, or whom he could never depend on. The very sight of him rattled me. When he took notice of the accountant, he confused. My voice was sepulchral. So what do you mean by sepulchral? Yeah, sepulchral means ghost-like. So the sight of the accountant actually confused him, and suddenly his voice got, yeah, something like a ghostly one. Can I see the manager? I said, and added solemnly, alone. Yeah, I don't know why I said alone. Then after approaching the accountant, yeah, the speaker actually asked, could he be able to see the manager? Yeah, he asked, could he be able to see the manager? And adding to that question, he also uttered, alone. Yeah, that means he actually wanted to see, or he actually wanted to meet the manager alone, that means in private or in person. I don't know why I said alone. Then it is said here that actually the speaker didn't know why he put forward such a strange demand. Yeah, that he actually wanted to meet the manager in person. Certainly, said the accountant, and fetched him. Yeah, yeah. Then the accountant said that, yeah, it may be possible, and he actually made the way for him to the manager's cabin. The manager was a grave, calm man. I held my $56 clutched in a crumpled ball in my pocket. So the manager was a grave, calm man. So he was just opposite to the accountant. The accountant was actually a tall and cool devil, a negative shade character. But comparing to the accountant, the manager was, yeah, a very calm and a grave person. That means a very easily accountable man. I held my $56 clutched in a crumpled ball in my pocket. So while he was actually getting into the cabin of the manager, he actually hauled his money in a strong manner. Are you the manager? I said. God knows I didn't doubt it. So suddenly the man asked him whether he was the manager. Then the manager replied that, yes, he was actually the manager. Can I see you? I asked. Alone. I didn't want to say alone again, but without it, the thing seemed self-evident. Then he once again he took the permission of the manager himself. The man asked the manager, whether he would be able to see the manager in person. The question that he asked, or he raised to the accountant, again repeated here also to the manager. Actually, he did not want to repeat the word alone there also, but it accidentally happened, and he said that if he did not use the word alone, the question may be seemed as self-evident. The manager looked at me in some alarm. He felt that I had an awful secret to reveal. So the manager expected. So when the man actually demanded to meet the manager in person, the manager suddenly thought that he actually wanted to reveal something very secret. "Come in here," he said, and led the way to a private room. He turned the key in the lock. So, so the manager thought that he actually wanted to reveal something great, or he actually wanted to reveal something very secret. So he actually directed him to a personal room, or directed to his personal cabin, and they decided to get into the personal cabin and decided to talk by sitting there. Okay, now please turn over the page and take page number 54. Here we are actually moving to the next page. "We are safe from interruption here," he said. "Sit down." So after inviting the man into his cabin, the manager said that, yeah, here they were actually apart from all those disturbance. That means there they were actually away from any interruption. That means simply saying that no one would be there to disturb them. So in that way, he urged the man to reveal the secret, as if he was thinking that the man had something to reveal secretly. We both sat down and looked at each other. I found no voice to speak. So even though they sat together, the man found nothing to speak. "You are one of Pinkerton men, I presume," he said. So Pinkerton is actually a detective agency. So the manager simply thought that he was actually a person, a spy worker, or a person from the detective agency. He had gathered from my mysterious manner that I was a detective. I knew what he was thinking, and it made me worse. So by analyzing what we can say, by analyzing the external appearance and his behavior and manners, the manager came to the conclusion that he was actually a man from a detective agency. But when the manager developed such kind of an attitude towards the man got too much confused, and the condition became very worse. "No, not from Pinkerton," I said, seeming to imply that I came from a rival agency. So he actually wanted to break the manager's notion that he was from a detective agency. "To tell the truth," I went on, as if I had been prompted to lie about it, "I am not a detective at all. I have come to open an account. I intend to keep all my money in this bank." Then he suddenly said that no, he was not from a detective agency. He simply arrived there to open an account, and thereafter he wanted to put, or he wanted to save, or he wanted to invest all his money with that bank account. The manager looked relieved but still serious. He concluded now that I was a son of Baron Rothschild or a young colt. What do you mean by Baron Rothschild? A celebrated Jewish family of bankers, fabulously rich. Then Gaul, an American millionaire of the late 19th century, well known for his lavish spending. So when the man actually revealed that he just came there to open an account, and he wanted to invest his entire money with that bank account, the manager got relieved. At the same time, he became so serious, and he thought that the man was as if there to insult him, and he simply said that he was also a millionaire. or a person from a very rich family. Okay, a large account, I suppose, he said. Then the man said that yeah, he actually decided to invest a huge account. Here we are actually moving with the next page, so please take page number 55. Fairly large, I whispered. I propose to deposit $56 now and $50 a month regularly. Then the man added that fairly large. Yeah, he thought that it was a very huge amount, and then he added that he actually decided to deposit $56 then, and after that he decided to deposit $50 per month. So this was actually the amount he wished to deposit with the newly opened account. That means $56 right then, and afterwards $50 per each month, per month. Okay, per month. Okay. The manager got up and opened the door. He called to the accountant. So for the entire bank, $56 was a small, or was a little sum of money. For them it was not a large amount, but for the man it was a big amount. So that is why when the man said that when the man mentioned the amount, yeah, the manager became angry. Suddenly he got up and opened the door and called to the accountant. Mr. Montgomery, he said unkindly loud, this gentleman is opening an account. He will deposit $56. Good morning, I rose. So suddenly he called the accountant and forwarded this man to the accountant, and just mentioned that this man actually wanted to open an account, so do the needful. So in that way the manager actually forwarded this man to the accountant and left the place. It might be because yeah, he became that much angry with that person, because that person was simply spoiled whose valuable time, simply spoiled the manager's valuable time, because $56 was a very 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 small amount, small sum of money. So with regard to the investment of such a small amount or sum of money, that person actually spoiled the precious time of manager. So that actually made the manager very nervous and very angry. A big iron door stood open at the side of the room. Good morning, I said, and stepped into the safe. Come out, said the manager coldly, and shoved me the other way. Then the manager actually shoved the person the other way to go to the other cabin, to the accountant. I went up to the accountant's wicket and parked the bowl of money at him with a quick convulsive movement, as if I were doing a conjuring trick. What do you mean by conjuring trick? Yeah, magical. So suddenly the man actually went to the accountant with a movement that was impossible to control. My face was ghastly pale. So the man's face was ghastly pale. That means he was that much insulted. When the manager made such a comment, or when the manager behaved so, the man became pale. That means the man became as if he was insulted, because he thought that it was a large amount of money, but when the manager treated that in a very casual sense, or when the manager actually behaved in a way just opposite to what he expected. He became very nervous. Suddenly he became pale. Here, I said, deposit it. The tone of the words seemed to mean, let us do this painful thing while the fit is on us. So anyway, yeah, here I said, deposit it. The tone of the word seemed to mean, let us do this painful thing while the fit is on us. So anyway, he decided to deposit the money. He took the money and gave it to the another clerk. And in that way, he gave it to the another clerk. He made me write the sum on a slip and sign my name in a book. I no longer knew what I was doing. So the clerk actually made him to write the sum on a slip and sign his name in a book. So these were all the procedures that we used to do while we are actually investing or withdrawing money in bank or from bank. Okay, is it deposited? I asked in a hollow vibrating voice. It is, said the accountant. So the accountant was actually making him to write the sum on a slip and to sign his name in a book. So in that way, the accountant was actually doing all those procedures. So when all those procedures were over, yeah, the man actually told him, yeah, whether his money was deposited. Then the accountant said that, yeah, it was. Then I went to draw a check. So then I want to draw a check. So the man actually wanted to draw a check. My idea was to draw out $6 of it for present use. Someone gave me a checkbook through a wicket and someone else began telling me how to write it out. The people in the bank had the impression that I was an invalid millionaire. I wrote something on the check and thrust it in at the clerk. He looked at it. So the next thing he actually wanted to do is actually wanted to draw a check, and his idea was actually to draw out $6 of $6 of it for present use. So even though he actually invested $56 right then, he suddenly wanted a checkbook. For what purpose? Yeah, he actually wanted to withdraw the $6 immediately after the investment. Yeah, that was actually for his present use. That was actually, he wanted to spend that money for his present use. Then someone actually gave him a checkbook through a counter, and someone actually began telling him how to write or how to fill a checkbook. The people in the bank had the impression that I was an invalid millionaire. I wrote something on the check and thrust it in at the clerk. He looked at it. So the people who were sitting inside the bank had an impression that the person was actually an invalid millionaire. That means he was not a millionaire, or he was not a valuable person. Okay, I wrote something on the check and thrust it in at the clerk. He looked at it. Suddenly, after filling the check, he passed it to the clerk, and the clerk had a look at it. What? Are you drawing it all out again? He asked in surprise. Then I realized that I had written 56 instead of 6. I was too far gone to reason now. I had a feeling that it was impossible to explain the thing. All the clerks had stopped writing to look at me. So when he shoved the slip to the counter, the clerk got embarrassed. Then suddenly the clerk asked him whether he was actually going to withdraw all the money he invested right then. Then only he was able to identify that he mistakenly written the amount as 56 instead of 6. Okay, so at the time, so everyone, yeah, stopped writing. That means everyone stopped writing and they all started listening or looking at him. Reckless with misery, I made a plunge. Then he actually felt shame on himself, so he took an oath, and suddenly he said that yes, he actually wanted to withdraw the whole amount. You withdraw your money from the bank? Then the clerk asked him in a very surprising manner that, yeah, was he actually going to withdraw all the money immediately after the investment, every cent of it? That means, yeah, was he actually going to, the clerk asked, was he actually going to, yeah, withdraw the entire amount? Are you not going to deposit anymore? Said the clerk, astonished. You're not? Yeah. Then the clerk asked him whether he was not, yeah, willing to, yeah, to remain, to leave, whether he was not going to deposit any more in the bank. Never, he said. An idiot hope struck me that they might think something had insulted me while I was writing the check and that I had changed my mind. I made a wretched attempt. Wretched attempt means feeble attempt to look like a man with a fearfully quick temper. The clerk prepared to pay the money. So he came to the conclusion, or he came to the conclusion that while he was actually writing the check, yeah, they might think something had insulted him while he was actually writing the check, and then they may be thinking that that actually changed his mind. Okay, how will you have it? He said. What? How will you have it? Oh, I caught his meaning and answered without even trying to think, in 50s. He gave me $50 bill. And the 6? He asked dryly. In 6s? I said. He gave it to me and I rushed out. As the big door swung behind me, I caught the echo of a roar of laughter that went up to the ceiling of the bank. Since then, I bank no more. I keep money in cash in my trouser pocket and my savings in silver dollars in a sock. So then, how will you have it? Then the person who was actually sitting at the counter asked him, yeah, how he would actually have it. That means in what denominations, in what denominations he actually wanted to have that money, in 50s or in 60s. Yeah. Then the person who was actually sitting at the counter asked him, yeah, oh, how will you have it? I caught his meaning and answered without even trying to think, in 50s. So without thinking, he replied that in 50s. He gave me a $50 bill. So he actually wanted to have $50 in $50 notes. And the 6? He asked dryly. In 6s, I said. So here it is clear that he had no notion about notes, and he also wanted to have the $6 in $6 notes. So in that way, he revealed to them that he had no notion about the notes. He gave it to me and I rushed out. So then the clerk or the person who's sitting there actually, yeah, gave it to him, to the man, and the man went out. As the big door swung behind me, so as he was actually closing the door, I caught the echo of a roar of laughter and that went up to the ceiling of the bank. So as he was actually leaving the bank, or as he was actually uh, closing the door, he could hear the laughter sound. Since then I bank no more. So because all people inside the bank were actually laughing at his 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 uh, his foolishness. Okay, since then I bank no more. I keep money in cash in my trouser pocket and my savings in silver dollars in a sock. So from that bitter experience, he would never have gone for banking. So from that time onwards, he used to keep money in cash in his, either in his pocket or his savings in silver dollars in a sock. Okay, so here the story actually focusing on the notion of the bank employees dealing at different customers. See, if if they found that the customer is a rich person, they would definitely behave in a good manner. And if they knew that the customer is not a rich man, that means is a simple or is an average man, then he would behave, then they would start behaving in such a manner. So this is actually the idea conveyed in this story. So I hope that you understood everything clearly. So this is the time to wind up. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day.